Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Record. I'm John Bachman in for Greta Van Susteren. It is 4 p.m. here on the East Coast, and the markets have just closed for the week. And there were some dramatic swings over the last couple of days. Yesterday, stocks tumbled, with the Dow closing down 800 points. Things look a little bit better today. We'll take a look at what is bothering investors coming up. Plus, new details on the push for more Epstein files from lawmakers on Capitol Hill, as President Trump separately demands his Justice Department investigate Epstein's ties to some big names like Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, and J.P. Morgan Chase. And War Secretary Pete Hegseth announces a major military operation against narco-terrorists. This week, we'll have already seen Venezuela beefing up its troops. So what could happen next? Also this hour, what's going on in these two Democrat-led cities? Charlotte, North Carolina is next on the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, while Seattle gets a new mayor. She's a socialist who's never held office. Sound familiar? But first, let's talk about the economy this week. The White House said we might never get the latest job and inflation numbers after the government shutdown delayed those reports. Well, today we have an update. Let's welcome in now financial markets economist and president of the Lonksi Group, John Lonksi, to talk more about this. John, great to see you.
Same here, John.
All right. Well, today, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that the September jobs report will be released after all on next Thursday. What are you expecting?
I think we're going to perhaps see a gain of maybe 50,000 jobs. The only problem is that's for the month of September. I want to know what happened in the month of October. I want more up-to-date information regarding the state of the U.S. labor market. And all I have is something from ADP. ADP, the payrolls company, they estimate that private sector jobs declined by 12,500 jobs per month during the 4 weeks ended October 25th. So that's telling me that perhaps in the month of October, private sector employment that didn't have all that much to do with the government shutdown maybe lost 50,000 jobs, and that is not good.
One thing we've heard consistently from Jerome Powell and others is that the job market, the strength of the job market, has been why they've been reluctant to cut interest rates. Last time we saw a 0.25 percentage point last month. Were investors banking on another rate cut next month? And what do you think these jobs reports are going to do to impact the Fed's decision?
There's very much expected a rate cut at the Fed's next meeting that takes place December 10th, a couple of weeks before Christmas. At one time, the credit market assigned implied probability of 100% to December 10th rate cut. Last week, that probability had gone down to 67%. Today, that implied probability of a rate cut at the December Fed meeting dropped to 46%, less than 50-50. Yet the Fed has had no new data on the labor market. What's going on is that Fed governors, regional bank presidents keep speaking. They're warning markets that it's not necessarily a done deal that we get a rate cut on December 10th. But believe me, if we continue to have a weak equity market, suppose the stock market declines by another 7 to 10%, and if we continue to get weak soundings, I don't care if it's from outside the federal government, on the state of the U.S. labor market, if consumer sentiment remains close to record lows, if the Fed has any brains whatsoever, they go ahead and cut rates on December 10th.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what happens on December 10th. President Trump is lowering some of the tariffs to bring down the cost of food, talking about bananas, chocolate, coffee, and beef, talking about importing more beef from Argentina. When are we going to see a difference at the grocery store?
Perhaps not anytime soon, especially in the case of beef. The futures price of beef right now is up by 22% from a year ago. Maybe the cash price is up 20% year over year. I recently heard somebody from the beef industry talk about the possibility of hamburger selling for $10 per pound by the summer of 2026. Trump can't do much about that. Maybe he can go ahead and lift that tariff on imports of Brazilian beef. That's another possibility. But the reality is that the supply and demand imbalance in the beef industry is such that we have every reason to expect higher beef prices. Now, on the positive side, we can get our protein elsewhere. And I noticed that future prices for chickens, for broilers, are actually down from a year ago. We're seeing relative stability as far as fish and seafood prices are concerned. So it's not a total disaster for the American consumer. They're going to find that hamburger, that beef that they enjoy, will be getting more expensive.
Yeah, so more chicken, less beef if you want to trim back on your budget. The holidays are approaching. This is usually a time of spending for Americans. What economic factors will you be watching when it comes to holiday spending in the next couple of months?
Perhaps the most important factor will be internet-related sales. E-commerce sales have become increasingly important. You want to see how crowded shopping malls and stores are on Black Friday. That's quite important. For the most part, forecasters are looking for growth by holiday sales, but not as rapid as it was back in 2024. They see the year-over-year increase by holiday sales slipping from 4% last year to 3.5% this year. That ain't bad. Sales are still growing. And, we may find that shoppers downsize in terms of what they're purchasing. They may purchase slightly less, try to pay less. You may find that discounters like Walmart do especially well during this holiday shopping season. I want to add
John
one thing.
Lonksi, great to have you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, we got about a minute left here. Go for it. Go for it.
If you don't have jobs creation, you're not going to have much in terms of growth as far as employment income is concerned. It's common sense. No jobs, little income growth. And if incomes aren't growing, neither will consumer spending grow. And if consumer spending doesn't grow, the businesses are left with unwanted inventories. They're not finding that they need so many employees. And of course, if that happens, we begin to see quite an increase in layoffs. And all too often, that can lead to a recession. Let's cross our fingers, but we have to be wary of that possibility. And that's why cut rates come December 10th.
Yeah, right. We will cross our fingers and say a prayer and cross our toes and everything else that doesn't happen. John Lonksi, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, we have an exclusive report today. The Gaza Health Foundation, an aid organization backed by the United States and Israel, has ceased operations. Our Middle East correspondent, Zach Anders, has been following this story for us. Zach, what can you tell us?
Newsmax has learned that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the GHF, those are the American private contractors known for distributing free aid inside the Gaza Strip. They will cease their operations. They had paused operations back on October 10th. The GHF says that was due to search efforts for hostage remains in their areas of operation. Now, both White House and U.S. Embassy sources confirmed to me that the GHF is withdrawing from Gaza and that their return is doubtful. And I'm told the primary factor was a lack of funding. Now, for the American security personnel involved, they were told today that their roles are ending and to look for new work elsewhere. The GHF began in late May and have distributed millions of meals for free to Gazans who enter their sites and secured by American personnel. They distributed free food and supplies nearly every day since late May, even during the Iran missile attacks. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee tells me this move saddens him and that it was the only thing that worked, but the UN hated it, Hamas hated it, and there you have it, he says. The GHF model was unique and designed to cut out Hamas entirely instead of the UN model where the trucks would enter Gaza, looted by Hamas, supplies failing to reach the civilians who needed it most. The GHF sites were active every day and civilians could enter on their own and receive a handout directly for free, bypassing the markets, bypassing Hamas. Now, in a statement released today, the GHF says that they're only making, quote, targeted operational adjustments while continuing discussions with partners on the next phase of aid relief, and that, quote, the GHF remains fully intact and ready to resume work as soon as conditions permit. But again, our sources are telling us that their efforts are ending and are doubtful to return. Aid will continue to enter Gaza under the current UN model, if you will. And as we've seen since the ceasefire has gone into effect, aid continues to be looted off these trucks as Hamas continues to refuse to disarm. They continue to steal the food, the medicine, the supplies on those trucks destined for the civilians who need it most. Zach Anders here in Athens for Newsmax.
All right, our thanks to Zach Anders there. Coming up on the record, the Justice Department appoints a prosecutor to look into the Epstein ties after a request from President Trump. That when the record continues.
Whenever news breaks.
What you see behind me is the aftermath of that attack.
We're in the helicopter with the men and women with the Texas Department.
This is going to be Trump's first time back in South Carolina.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed Bill SB 524.
And wherever it happens.
Many citizens in France are saying enough is enough.
Locally in Virginia, education very much came into play there.
But inflation reached a 40-year high.
Newsmax is there for you.
I'm Elmer Heinrich. At 91 years of age, here with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you.
It really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order now. You'll be glad you did.
I start my day with Rise Mushroom Coffee. Makes me feel more focused and energized. It's coffee so good for you, there's not much room for improvement. Sorry.
At Avocado, comfort isn't just how it's made. It's how it makes you feel. Our green mattress is certified organic, handcrafted, and built for lasting, healthy sleep. And with the Eco Organic mattress, comfort is more accessible than ever. No compromises. 2 mattresses, 1 mission. Comfort you can trust. Every purchase gives back through 1% for the planet. Discover organic comfort at avocadomattress.com or a local retailer. Avocado, dream of better.
Look what I just found. No ding decline on the Experian app. They show me credit cards that won't hurt my credit if I'm not approved. Turns out I care about my credit health too. Get the app from your big financial friend. Experian.
The signatures are in. Newly sworn Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva is the final signature on the discharge petition regarding files related to disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. So now, next week, a vote will be held on the House floor that could compel the DOJ to release more files related to the convicted sex offender. Yesterday, Greta spoke with Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene about why she signed this petition. Here's what she had to say.
I think it's important for the women and it's important for transparency. To me, it communicates to every victim of rape, every child that has been trafficked, anyone that has been caught in a horrible situation like that, that people do care about you and that there will be justice. All of the women that I have spoken to, and they have gone on record, have said Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Many of them have said he helped us, and even their attorney said he was the only one that helped.
Former federal prosecutor Joseph Moreno joins us now, as well as attorney and legal analyst Joanna Spilbor. Great to have you both here with us this evening. Joseph, first to you. Let's start with this. How do you see this vote playing out next week?
Well, John, it could go either way. It sounds like it's going to come down to the wire. I completely get people's emotional desire to get information out in the public. It makes sense. I understand that. But there's a reason we don't release investigative files beyond that which is necessary to bring as evidence at trial. It's because there's going to be information there about people who were maybe interviewed, who were maybe sought after, but were never actually charged with anything. And we don't dump information like that in the public because it could besmirch people who were never actually facing any criminal indictment. So again, I understand the emotional desire to have this information out there, but there's a reason we don't operate like this.
Yeah, Joanna, Republicans, Democrats, they spun this issue up Both sides have done this. Professor Dershowitz on this program yesterday talked about why judges are actually keeping some of this information off the books, and we just heard Joseph mention that. What do you think is actually going to happen here? What will the DOJ actually do if this vote does pass?
No, it's interesting because I'm trying to figure out why the issue is still red meat for the Democrats when this information, if it were relevant to anything, could have been disclosed long ago during the Biden administration. Now our DOJ has it, and we have to trust. I trust our DOJ, and if there's a reason why they're not disclosing 100% of the documents, I am okay with that. And I'm very concerned that some Republicans are not. So I think what's going to happen with this vote, regardless of if it gets passed high enough where it lands on Donald Trump's desk, he's going to veto it, and rightfully so, because my colleague, Joseph, just said it perfectly. If we are investigating these files ourselves, we cannot release them to the general public. And I have one other thing to say. I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene that we want the victims to have their day in court. We want them to feel that they're heard, that they're seen. I believe that most, if not all, of the victims have been compensated. To the extent they haven't been, then yes, if we need to pull that information from the records, let's do it. But everything else, we have to trust our DOJ.
Yeah, Joseph, President Trump has separately demanded his Justice Department investigate Epstein's ties to some big names like Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, and J.P. Morgan Chase. And now Attorney General Pam Bondi says the SDNY, U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton, is taking the lead on this investigation. Are you familiar with Clayton, and what do you think he's going to do here?
I mean, Jay Clayton is as white shoe a lawyer as you're going to get, right? I mean, he is very well known. He was former chairman of the SEC. Now he's U.S. attorney in New York. He's very, very well respected. So I can't think of anyone else better. But why are we doing this? I mean, why are we kind of reopening this wound and looking at things that may have happened decades ago that are well beyond the statute of limitations? So even if they find things from years ago, what are they going to do with it? They can't bring charges. So again, it's not about covering things up. It's not about preventing the public from knowing things. There's a practical reality here, though, that if you just keep the story alive, it stays in the headlines, but nothing productive is actually going to come from it.
Yeah, John, one of the things I think we've witnessed this week is a very disingenuous effort by a lot of big-name Democrats especially to shade these emails in a certain way that make Donald Trump look like he's guilty of things that he's not guilty of. And if you pay close attention, a lot of these tweets that were sent out are cached in a very certain way where they're like conditional, but still meant to have that effect. And I think that's going to continue as long as people keep pushing for these documents to be released.
You are being very kind and classy about it. They're flat out lying. They're manipulating a lot of these emails to take stuff out of context. It's another version of the lawfare that we all lived through prior to Donald Trump becoming the president once again. And that could be a very good reason why the administration doesn't want to put it out there. It shouldn't be fodder for the Democrats with their red pens or their black pens and their manipulation to do more of the same. We don't need that. That's a waste of time. And that could be one valid reason why the DOJ doesn't want to give this Play-Doh to the Democrats.
Yeah, one of the emails I saw, Joseph, was from Tom Pritzker to Jeffrey Epstein and back and forth. And it was, just a few words. It said, Barack and the boys, Palm Beach, wild, wild, wild. And we could, read into that in many different ways. And I think this goes back to what you were saying. You're only getting some of the information here. We're not lawyers. Most of the people who are going to read these emails are not lawyers. They're not looking at this through the lens of trying to actually investigate what took place here. It's like a Rorschach test to a lot of folks. They're going to see whatever they want.
It's true, John. This is why we don't operate like this. So there's going to be different ways to read things. There's going to be ambiguities. And then there's always the practical reality that no matter how much is released, people will always think there's more. So this is going to continue. And they're going to say, well, what was left out? What was redacted? What don't we see? So again, I'm all for transparency, but if we start doing it with a case like this, then where does it end? I mean, why don't we then release investigative files for all kinds of high-profile cases? It's not the way we operate here, and I really hope that this does not become the beginning of basically changing the way that our justice system works in order to protect those who are not actually charged with a crime.
Yeah, and Jonna, one of the things I think that we can clearly say about this case is Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2009, and you still saw a lot of very powerful people communicating with him after the fact, after we knew this guy was a dirtbag. That's because he was rich. That's because he still had a lot of influence. And I think that's one of the most damning things about this is that people were still in contact with this guy when he should have been a pariah.
Well, we don't really have guilt by association, right? So you can be friendly with a dirtbag. You know, P. Diddy, in my opinion, had a lot of friends and probably still does and still will. That doesn't mean that you condone whatever they did or that you even knew about whatever they did. So that is unfortunate. I wouldn't have selected to befriend him, but that doesn't make anybody who did per se guilty.
We did see one person cut him off, though, and that was Donald Trump. And it seemed like Jeffrey Epstein was pretty upset about that and took that personally. Joseph Moreno, Joanna Spilbor, thank you both for being here. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Mecklenburg County, North Carolina Sheriff Jerry McFadden has confirmed the Trump administration will deploy U.S. Border Patrol agents to Charlotte, North Carolina. National correspondent Joe Moeller joins us live from Charlotte with the latest on the operation. Joe, what can you tell us?
Well, John, the sheriff here says federal officials gave him a call to inform him about the upcoming operations from Border Patrol that are taking place in the Charlotte area. Today, local politicians reacted to that news. Well, the sheriff says he got 2 phone calls from officials informing him about the operations that will be taking place, but they did not release any details. He explained in a release he doesn't know exactly what's going on, but knows they will be here and that local law enforcement personnel will not be involved in those immigration operations. According to a report by CBS, the Trump administration is preparing for major operations here, not only in Charlotte, but also New Orleans, with special operations teams and possibly armored vehicles. Well, this morning here in Charlotte, local Democrats held a press conference protesting the plans, many referencing what they've been seeing in Chicago. Councilman-elect J.D. Mazur-Arias spoke out against CBP and ICE.
This is not about public safety. It is not about finding criminals. When federal agents enter our communities without warning, without cause, and without humanity, they are not keeping us safe. They are terrorizing our neighborhoods.
We're seeing a lot of reaction to the news. Border Patrol is on their way here. Not too long ago, I spoke to Congressman Tim Moore, who represents this area. He says he's welcoming Border Patrol here to the city. I guess your reaction to word that the Border Patrol is on their way to Charlotte.
What they're trying to do, as I understand, is to try to go in and deal with some very dangerous individuals who are in our community. And as someone who represents Charlotte, I want safety and security for everyone here. And the fact that folks on the left are demonizing and attacking law enforcement officials, they should be ashamed of that. They should be supporting these folks.
Border Patrol is expected to be here as early as tomorrow or early next week. There are some protests planned in the Charlotte area throughout the weekend. I'll send it back to you, John.
Joe Moeller live for us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Joe, thank you. Coming up, if you are wondering where Greta Van Susteren is today and why you have me instead, we're going to show you when the record continues.
I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes.
Illegals are good for Democrat job security. That's the quiet part most Democrats won't admit. Chris Platt looks at Joe Biden's critical border crisis. Watch The Biden Chronicles, Border Bungle.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans. Compare drug coverage. Compare costs. See if you can save. And make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Compare plans now at Medicare.gov.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Make this Christmas the year you go all in on joy. At Balsam Hill, Black Friday is finally here. Celebrate with one of our beautifully crafted lifelike trees and save up to 50% off. Start making memories at balsamhill.com.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
I'm former Mets manager Terry Collins. The Tunnel Towers Foundation is very important to me, and I look for ways to try to support them any way I can. If a first responder is killed in the line of duty, T2T will pay off the mortgage for their family. That's just one of the ways T2T makes a difference. You can support their cause as well by donating $11 a month. Go to T2T.org, let's go Mets, and let's help Tunnel Towers.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at GetTrumpWatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, at 91 years of age with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, neither of us have any kind of sickness, and we're as flexible as we were 30 years ago, and we still do the physical things we did 30 years ago. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you. You won't believe it. Immuno 150 is an awesome nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it.
Yes, it really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order online or call the number listed on the screen, but don't place your order until after you've watched the videos on our website. Thank you from both of us, and God bless.
Welcome back. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is launching a new operation dubbed Southern Spear. The goal, to eliminate narco-terrorists in the Western Hemisphere. Yesterday, Secretary Hegseth posted this on X, quote, "Today I'm announcing Operation Southern Spear, led by Joint Task Force Southern Spear and Southcom. This mission defends our homeland, removes narco-terrorists from our hemisphere, and secures our homeland from the drugs that are killing our people. The Western Hemisphere is America's neighborhood, and we will protect it." Let's welcome in now Texas Congressman, a member of the House Armed Services Committee, Ronny Jackson. Great to see you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, John.
Well, we don't hear about new military operations every day on social media like we did with Southern Spear, but what can you tell us about this mission and the long-term goal here?
Well, I think the long-term goal here is, John, is to shut down the narco traffickers that have been funneling drugs into our country for years and years now, especially during the 4 years of the Biden administration, killing hundreds and hundreds of Americans every single day. President Trump had campaigned on this. He said that when he became president, we were going to stop this, and that's what this is about. It's putting an end to this. It's sending a message to all the narco terrorists throughout all of South and Central America and the Caribbean that they will not send drugs into this country anymore. And if they do, they will be killed. And that's a big change from what's happened in the past, where it's been ignored, it's been treated lightly. People have got a pat on the wrist. They've had some of the drugs taken away and they've been released, and they just go back and get more drugs for the boat, load it up again, and come right back. And they're used to getting these drugs into the country, and they're not doing that anymore. And so this is a message that President Trump is sending to all of the drug traffickers that are sending drugs into this country. This will no longer stand.
Venezuela's military is now preparing for a possible U.S. attack. We heard President Trump was briefed on some options. Do you think it's likely anything like that is going to happen?
I do not think it's likely that's going to happen. I think that it's good that we plan, for contingencies. That's the job of the Secretary of War and for all of the Department of War is to be ready to have those contingency plans in place. President Trump was probably asking some questions about what if this happens, what if that happens, and they briefed him on it. But I don't think that's on the table right now. But I do think that Maduro's time in office, he's not supposed to be there anyways. He didn't win the last election. I think his time as president of Venezuela, his days are numbered. And I think one way or another, he will be captured. He will be brought back to the United States, and he'll stand trial for the crimes he's committed as well.
Sort of like Manuel Noriega once upon a time,
yeah.
Nicolas Maduro could suffer the same fate, and that might be just in many cases. Congressman, we know the Pentagon held a briefing with members of Congress about these boat strikes we've seen. Your Democratic colleagues, though, don't seem satisfied with the briefing. Specifically, Congressman Jason Crow says he did not see the case being made for lethal force, but we've seen the video. I mean, these boats are not fishing boats. There's no nets, there's no fishing poles, there's very expensive outboard motors equipped on these boats. What is Congressman Crow missing?
Well, I don't know. He's missing something here because I've seen some of this stuff, too. I've seen some of the intel. I've seen the White House legal counsel's interpretation of their authority. Their authority is sound. They briefed recently the chair and the ranking member of both the Senate and the House Intelligence Committee, the House and the Senate Armed Services Committee, and the Speaker, the leader, and the rankers in both the House and the Senate. And what I heard from that meeting when they walked away, even Senator Warner, who's the ranking member on the Senate Intel Committee, said that he was satisfied with the legal arguments that were made, and he was also satisfied that the intelligence was sound, that they're acting on good sound intelligence, that they're actually killing narco terrorists, they're not killing fishermen or anything else. They know who these people in these boats are, at least some of them. They know them by name, and they know that they're associated with these narco terrorists and with drug trafficking. And you know what? If you get in that boat and you're helping them move drugs across, international waters into our country, you're gonna pay a price too. You're gonna get sunk with the rest of that boat and everybody that's in it. And I think that it's important that we're doing this. Some people are like, why aren't we just arresting these people? Why aren't we just seizing the drugs and arresting them? You know what? This is sending a message. It's sending a message to the world. It's sending a message to the American people that President Trump is taking this serious. And more importantly, it's sending a message to these narco terrorists that he's taking this serious and that the rules have changed now. And if you do this, you will die in the process. And that's a powerful message to send to people like that.
Yeah, I can't imagine being one of those guys who's probably forced now to get on one of these boats and try to make it outside of Venezuela to another country. Colombia stopped sharing intelligence with the U.S. over these boat strikes. Is that significant in any way?
It's not significant right now. Colombia's been a problem for us for a while. They're making tons of money from this. Let's make a mistake about it. They're paying a price for these strikes as well. They don't want these strikes to continue. They want the narco terrorists to be able to continue to do what they're doing because that's how they line their pockets as well. So I think that I doubt that most of the intelligence that they're providing or that they were providing was really key in what we do right now. I don't think that it's going to hinder our ability to do exactly what we're doing right now at all.
And these are obviously not military personnel. These are drug traffickers on these boats. And you, again, to reiterate here, have no concerns about civilians being killed by the U.S. military.
I have no concern. I think that they are going out of their way to make sure that they know who are on these boats and to make sure that there are no civilians. They're not inadvertently killing fishermen. These are, like you said, these are narco traffickers, but these are also designated terrorists right now, and we have every right to go after them. And they're killing Americans. They're killing more Americans than anywhere else in the world right now, and President Trump is going to put an end to it. And so I think it's totally 100% justified.
One of our correspondents, Jason Jones, reported today that the Panamanian military seized a massive amount of cocaine on a ferry boat. And we know that drug traffickers are going to try to get these drugs in one way or other. Now that we're having success stopping these drug boats, these high-speed drug boats, what's the next step to crack down on other methods of transportation of these drugs into the country?
Well, I think what you're going to see, John, is there's a reason that this is happening the way it is right now. For the longest time, these drug traffickers had avoided territorial waters of all these different countries because they were being captured and seized. And we were providing intelligence and we were providing Coast Guard resources to help in those efforts. So what they started doing a while back is they started using international waters. So they were going further out. They felt like that was a safe haven for them, that they weren't in anyone's territorial waters. They were going to have a better chance of getting it through. And that's what we're shutting down with the U.S. military right now with the United States Navy, those international waters. So it makes sense that they might start going back and trying to exercise routes that are inside these territorial waters. But we're going to continue to help those countries that want to help us, and we're going to give them the information that they need so that they can seize these assets in their territorial waters as well. So it's one big project, but I think working together we're going to make a massive difference on what's happening.
Congressman Ronny Jackson, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
In about 2 hours from now, President Trump is set to depart the White House. He is headed down to Florida and Mar-a-Lago for the weekend. This as the Trump administration just reached new trade deals with Switzerland and Liechtenstein. White House correspondent Mike Carter joins us now with the latest on these deals. Hey, Mike.
Hey, John. Well, throughout the second Trump administration, there's been an increased focus on bringing back American manufacturing and bringing more money into the United States through foreign investments. And today we saw just that with investments from the countries of Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Both of those countries now agreeing with the United States to invest $200 billion into the U.S. over the coming years, with $67 billion in investments from these countries occurring next year.
This is something where we've essentially reached a deal with Switzerland, where they're going to, send a lot of their manufacturing here to the United States. Pharmaceuticals, gold smelting, railway equipment. So we're really excited about that deal and what it means for American manufacturing.
Well, President Trump commenting today about the administration's new focus on affordability, saying this: cost and inflation were far higher under the sleepy Joe Biden administration than they are now. In fact, costs under the Trump administration are tumbling down, helped greatly by gasoline and energy. Affordability is a lie when used by the Dems. It is a complete con job, says Trump. Thanksgiving costs are 25% lower this year than last under Crooked Joe. We are the party of affordability. Well, how about this? Make beef prices cheap again. The Trump administration says it will quadruple beef imports from Argentina. The push to do so is in conjunction with a new business deal with Argentinian President Javier Milei, a close Trump ally, of course. And the deal is in conjunction with a $20 billion currency swap with Argentina's central bank. Well, yesterday, the White House striking deals with 4 South and Central American countries to lower grocery prices, or at least try to, for some food items grown outside of the U.S. Why? Well, take a look at this data. The CPI data out of September price index shows that coffee prices have spiked nearly 19% over the last year. Bananas up 7%, and beef prices up nearly 15%. Of course, a lot of American farmers, John, taking issue with the Trump administration wanting to import beef from other countries. That was CPI data, by the way, from September. Why don't we have October? Well, because of according to the White House, CPI data, jobs numbers for the month of October will probably not ever be released due to the shutdown. The White House blaming Democrats and saying that the shutdown and the lack of those numbers, statistical data, really will hurt policymakers at the Federal Reserve. John?
Mike Carter live for us at the White House. Mike, thank you. So where is Greta Van Susteren today? She's with Samaritan's Purse, checking out their new aid plane.
Okay, check out this plane. This is Samaritan's Purse. It's seen all over the world, their planes. It says, help me in Jesus' name. And this is the new 767. And check out, she's a beauty. You know, I'm sort of heartbroken that the DC-8 is going to go to other pastures. It's a smaller plane, been flying for years. I've been around the world a couple times. I've been to war zones in it. I've seen field hospitals, and I've been to typhoons. And so my heart sort of was a little bit sad that's going to be retired. But then I saw this beauty. Already been to Gaza and to Jamaica, and she's just getting started.
All right, cool stuff. That is a big plane and a lot of aid going to people who really need it. Well, President Trump just received an apology from who? And will it be enough? We'll talk about that when the record continues.
You hear the same voices.
Donald Trump knows that's a lie.
From the same people.
Donald Trump is less lucid.
Saying the same thing.
Insults, invective, and outright lies.
And you say, enough! I'm Chris Salcedo, and I'll tell you the real news. You don't believe me? Just tune in.
Hey guys, Viagra is not your only option. Rose Sparks act fast and stay active longer. They aren't pills. Sparks dissolve under your tongue to reach your bloodstream for speedy results. Sildenafil starts things off strong, and Tadalafil stays in your system for longer. More confidence, more control. Rose Sparks. Connect with a provider at ro.co/sparks.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands. We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years.
Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one. But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late. Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
At Avocado, we know strong days deserve truly comforting nights. Introducing the Extra Firm Mattress. Certified organic, crafted for unmatched support. It delivers strong, cooling comfort and proper alignment without synthetic foams or harmful chemicals. Durable, sustainable, reassuringly firm, night after night. Visit avocadomattress.com or a local retailer to learn more. Avocado, dream of better.
It's the Buy More, Save More sale at Cabinets to Go. Save up to 40% on a huge selection of popular color and style combinations. Plus, get a free 3D design and watch your dream kitchen come to life. Cabinets to Go. Wow for less.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints. Or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, at 91 years of age with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno-150. Now, neither of us have any kind of sickness, and we're as flexible as we were 30 years ago, and we still do the physical things we did 30 years ago. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno-150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you. You won't believe it. Immuno-150 is an awesome nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it.
Yes, it really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order online or call the number listed on the screen, but don't place your order until after you've watched the videos on our website. Thank you from both of us, and God bless.
Early this morning, Russia launched a major missile and drone attack on Kyiv. 6 people were killed and at least 35 were wounded. Foreign correspondent Shelby Wilder is in Kyiv with the latest. Shelby?
Well, it was another long and brutal night here in the Ukrainian capital as Russia carried out a deadly mass attack. I'm actually at the site of one location that was hit, and this is a residential apartment complex. It was hit by a kamikaze drone. As you can see, there are rescue and recovery efforts that have been underway all day, and we know that civilians were killed and injured at this site. And we know that at least 6 people have been killed in this latest strike, more than 25 injured, including children and a pregnant woman. Over 40 people had to be rescued from damaged and destroyed buildings. And Russia launched approximately 430 drones and 18 missiles. This is a staggering figure, and every single district in Kyiv was hit overnight. I spent the evening going between a shelter and also to a rooftop to be assessing the situation. That shelter was filled with civilians. The people were there with their children, with their pets, again, trying to seek refuge, even though you could hear what was going on outside, which is that the capital was being rocked by these explosions. And when I went to this rooftop looking out over Kyiv, I could see incoming drones that were being intercepted, so exploding. I could see tracer fire, so close-range gunfire, trying to shoot them down. And I also heard the Patriots, the US-made air defense systems, going to work, trying to intercept incoming Russian missiles. But this once again just shows, as Russia is ramping up a new renewed offensive in the east of Ukraine, making a push with hundreds of thousands of troops. They're also carrying out attacks across Ukraine, particularly on civilians and targeting Ukraine's energy grid, trying to freeze Ukrainians now that winter has arrived. All of this is a clear sign that Vladimir Putin has no intention of coming to the negotiating table anytime soon. Shelby Wilder in Kyiv for Newsmax.
All right, our thanks to Shelby Wilder there in a literal combat zone in Kyiv. The BBC has now apologized to President Trump over a misleading edit of his January 6th speech, but rejected his demands for compensation. Remember, earlier this month, President Trump threatened to sue the BBC for $1 billion in damages over that edit unless the corporation issued a retraction, apologized, and compensated him. Well, today, President Trump heard back from the BBC. The public broadcasting company issued an apology and a retraction, writing, quote, "We accept that our edit unintentionally created the impression that we were showing a single continuous section of the speech rather than excerpts from different points in the speech, and that gave the mistaken impression that President Trump had made a direct call for violent action. The BBC would like to apologize to President Trump for that error of judgment," end quote. The BBC also noted that while it regrets the edit, it will not provide any legal compensation. We'll see if this is the end of this matter. Coming up, what are the requirements to be mayor in the United States? We'll look at the newly elected socialist mayor of Seattle when the record continues.
Nearly home. Who done it?
We're looking for a house closer to everything, but we don't know where to start.
Find it with Realtor.com. With Real Commute, it's easy to find a home closer to what's ever close to your heart. Do y'all recycle? Realtor.com.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
A lot of accidents happen up on ladders, especially this time of the year, trying to clean out clogged gutters. You don't want to be next. That's why homeowners choose Leaf Guard, the only seamless one-piece leaf shedding and rainwater management system with a clog-free guarantee. Remember, Leaf Guard's attached to the fascia using our patented hanger system with screws, not nails. We guarantee it's not coming down. And if you call during this program, you can take advantage of our double savings sale. We're going to double your savings to 20% off a complete Leaf Guard system, double your bonus to a $200 Visa gift card with purchase, and double your free gift. Receive a $100 gift card with your in-home estimate. And the first 50 homeowners who call will receive a vacation voucher with Leaf Guard purchase. Call 1-800-541-1274. That's 1-800-541-1274.
Yeah, with Leaf Guard, I haven't had any clogs at all. And I used to a lot. So I'm looking forward to many more years with my Leaf Guard system.
And with Leaf Guard's exclusive Big Mouth, the extra large opening and oversized downspouts can handle up to 32 inches of rainfall an hour. And Leaf Guard has a lifetime transferable warranty. Remember, we can bring our factory-owned wheels right to your house and in most cases install Leaf Guard in less than a day. Call now during this program and take advantage of our double savings sale. Double your savings to 20% off a complete Leaf Guard system. Double your bonus to a $200 Visa gift card with purchase and double your free gift. Receive a $100 gift card with estimate. And the first 50 homeowners who call will receive a vacation voucher with Leaf Guard purchase. Leaf Guard, get it today, protect it for life. Call 1-800-541-1274. That's 1-800-541-1274.
For pain in multiple spots like here, here, or here, Salonpas patches stick firmly and remove comfortably once your pain is gone. Salonpas. It's good medicine.
Welcome back. The Trump administration is cracking down on global violent far-left groups by hitting them with a new classification. Foreign Affairs correspondent Alex Salvi has those details. Alex?
The State Department is designating Antifa-linked groups in Europe as foreign terrorist organizations, putting them among the likes of Al-Qaeda, Hamas, and ISIS. The designation applies to 4 different organizations, one based in Germany, another in Italy, and 2 in Greece, and marks the first time the United States has applied such a designation to Antifa-linked groups. It expands President Trump's domestic directive to an international scale, giving Washington now the ability to freeze the group's assets, ban their entry to the U.S., and criminally prosecute those who offer material support. The organizations are accused of carrying out bombings, shootings, and other politically motivated acts of violence. The left-wing groups are self-described Marxists, with the State Department saying they've been waging a war of terror against the U.S. and the Western world for decades now, while pushing their extremist agenda. The cell in Italy endorsing armed conflict against the state and tied to dozens of violent acts over the past 20 years. The cell in Germany accused of carrying out attacks dating back to 2018, with the Hungarian government charging 9 members for attacking people on the streets of Budapest back in 2023.
She attacked the victims from behind. First, the victims were pepper sprayed on their faces. Then they were hit with sticks several times with medium force. One of the victims was hit in the face at least 4 times.
The new designation marks a rare use of foreign sanctions against left-wing groups and signals that the Trump administration is very much so serious about tackling what they see as a serious threat to American interests. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Alex. Another major U.S. city has elected a socialist mayor. This time, it is Seattle. Yesterday, the race was finally called for 43-year-old Katie Wilson. She beat out the incumbent mayor there, Bruce Harrell, but she's never held public office before. Her previous job was founding and working for a union that advocates for better conditions for riders of public transit in Seattle. Last month, she said in an interview that her parents, who are professors in New York State, sent her money. She also said, quote, "They send me a check periodically to help with my child care expenses." How much could that be? She also said child care for her daughters cost $2,200 a month. Yesterday, Wilson admitted that she had no intention of running.
A reporter called my team the other day and asked, who is the mastermind behind this campaign? Because no one saw us coming. No one saw us coming. As a progressive and as a socialist, I believe in good governance. Our government is how we act collectively, how we accomplish the things that can only be done together. And to all those who opposed my election and are skeptical of my leadership, you know who you are. There are many of you. I'm very aware that there is anxiety and fear in some circles. I say tough luck. It looks like you're going to have to deal with me.
In her first order of business as mayor-elect, she joined union workers striking against the successful Seattle-based coffee chain Starbucks. She also called on people to boycott that company. Meanwhile, talk about a wild ride. A San Francisco train driver falls asleep while operating the train. And yes, you heard me right. She fell asleep while driving the train, causing passengers to fall and scream. Take a look at this footage from the train's security camera of the incident. Relax. You fell asleep, lady. That train accelerated to more than 50 miles per hour, and it did almost crash into a car. Very lucky it did not. But according to the train driver, who has yet to be named, she had the whole situation under control. Sure. Coming up, if you're traveling anytime soon, you might want to hear this warning about bears. That when the record continues.
This isn't your average pill. This is Rose Sparks.
Rose Sparks.
Rose Sparks.
Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks is a fast-acting solution because it dissolves under your tongue.
Rose Sparks.
Guys, get started today.
Connect with a provider to find out if Rose Sparks are right for you.
This was me. I felt old. I did not feel like my age.
Over 80 million Americans struggle with hair loss.
Introducing iRestore, the most powerful FDA-cleared red light laser hair growth device on the market, designed to safely and effectively manage hair loss and support growth naturally at home.
I've really started to see the growth come back. It's thicker, it's fuller.
It has worked for me. It's like a miracle.
With iRestore, get results that are proven fast.
How fast? An impressive independent clinical study conducted by a board-certified dermatologist and laser surgeon Revealed in just 4 months, over 95% of participants saw dramatic results.
How dramatic? On average, participants saw an astounding 43.2% increase in both hair count and thickness.
It has brought back the hair that I thought I was never going to have.
Hair loss occurs most commonly due to increased levels of DHT, which binds to hair follicles, causing them to shrink and eventually go dormant, resulting in thinning and patchy hair growth.
iRestore counteracts the effects of DHT using red light therapy to increase blood flow to the scalp, helping weakened follicles become stronger, supporting restored natural growth for fuller, healthier hair.
That's why top doctors and hair loss experts are turning to iRestore. Its Lumitech technology combines up to 500 medical-grade red light lasers and LEDs, delivering the most powerful enhanced scalp coverage available for at-home use.
It's super easy. It's 12 minutes a day. Each month, my hair was getting fuller and fuller. I actually have my hair back.
Reclaim your confidence now and order your iRestore red light laser therapy device to try at home with up to $900 savings on select devices, plus get free shipping.
It's backed by a full 12-month satisfaction guarantee. If not completely satisfied, return it for a refund. And for faster results, you can get the Revive Hair Care Kit as a free bonus.
Scan the code or visit GetIRestore.com. That's GetIRestore.com. Order now.
I love Rise Mushroom Coffee, and not just because I look good drinking it.
Hello there.
The all-day energy I get is good too, and it's easy on the stomach. But mostly, it's because I look good drinking it.
I'm Elmer Heinrich. At 91 years of age, here with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you.
It really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order now. You'll be glad you did.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Sponsored by Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, the health of fresh food with the convenience of kibble. Visit drmartypets.com/TV.
This week, the State Department issued a rare warning for Americans in Japan. Why? Bear attacks. Japanese authorities say bears have attacked around 100 people since the beginning of April. Bears have been spotted in Japan near schools, supermarkets, and around airports. They are searching for food. The State Department urged Americans to be aware of their surroundings and report sightings to local authorities. Japan has deployed military and riot police to defend against these bears. How about that? The Chris Salcedo Show is up next. It's been great spending this time with you. And we will be back with you. I think Greta will be back on Monday. I'm John Bachman. Thanks for watching.